Now for CBS 4 News, this is 4 Sunday Morning.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to 4 Sunday Morning. I'm Elliot Rodriguez. We're starting out with politics this morning. 3 members of Congress from South Florida who have long been considered unbeatable are facing opponents for re-election this year. I'm talking about Lincoln Diaz-Balart, his brother Mario Diaz-Balart, and Ileana Ros-Lehtinen. The 3 incumbents are Republicans who are facing Democratic challengers. One of those challengers is my guest this morning. Annette Taddeo is making her first run at public office. She's challenging congressional veteran Ileana Ros-Lehtinen, who has held the seat since 1989. Now, the district stretches from Miami Beach all the way down to Key West. Annette Taddeo is my guest on 4 Sunday Morning. Thank you very much for joining me on 4 Sunday Morning. First of all, you were telling me a little while ago that the district is changing. I want to know about that. But first of all, I want to find out why you decided to jump into this race.
Because obviously we're in a very difficult time in our country and in our district, and it's time for leadership in Washington. And I am that kind of person that doesn't stand in the sidelines and wait for things to happen. I decided it was time for some real leadership, and that void, I saw that void there, and the voters are seeing that void, and I wanted to offer the opportunity to people to have an opportunity for change.
But you've never run for office before, is that correct?
No, I have not.
It's rather ambitious that your first time you're running for Congress against somebody who's been there for so long.
Some people would say that. I think it's important to send some real people to Washington for a difference rather than the politicians. I think we've had too many politicians, entrenched politicians, for so many years. As a businesswoman, I bring a different, fresh perspective to the table. And in a hard economic times, I think that that's exactly what we need in Washington.
Oh, you say you're a businesswoman. Tell me about your background.
Well, I've built a business for over 15 years, and I've been successful at that.
What type of business?
It's a language service business. I'm a small business owner. But I've also been very involved in the community, in the chambers of commerce in the local community. I've chaired the Women's Chamber, chaired the Coalition of Chambers, which is an umbrella organization for the 22 chambers of Miami-Dade County. So I've always risen up to leadership in the community. And it's important that, you know, someone that understands leadership and has shown leadership go to Washington to represent the members, you know, of the district, the voters of the district.
Well, let's talk about the district. It stretches from Miami Beach all the way down to Key West. And is it the same district that Ileana Ros-Lehtinen has had all these years, or has it changed? No,
it changed when we had to redraw the districts in order to make room for Mario's district. So now it is a very different district. You know, as you said, it goes from Miami Beach all the way to Key West. It's a very progressive district. A lot of people don't realize this is not the district that elected Ileana. And it definitely, it is now, you know, around 35% Democrat, 35% Republican, and the remainder is independent. It is also, it's about 65% Hispanic, but under 40% of that is Cuban. So it's a very different district than the one that elected her.
And what do you see as the issues that are important to the people in that district?
Well, definitely the economy, the war in Iraq, the economy for us. We're one of the areas that is most affected by the situation with the economy. The war in Iraq is a major problem, and we can debate whether we should have gone there or not. But the fact is, I'm running against someone that has supported President Bush every step of the way in the war in Iraq. And, you know, I think we need an independent voice to represent the voters of South Florida, and not somebody who will simply rubber stamp the president, no matter who that president is, Democrat or Republican.
Yeah, I don't think that Ileana Ros-Lehtinen would argue the point that she has been a very strong supporter of President Bush's policies, not only in Iraq, but also domestic policies. And now that the president has a low approval rating, are you taking this as an opportunity to jump in? Is that what prompted you?
No, I think that there's a hunger for change. People want change, and now that I'm in, I can tell you that there's a definite want for my candidacy, and people are being very supportive, and that's important as well. And there's one more issue: health care. My opponent voted four times against SCHIP, which is the health care, the Children's Health Insurance Program. You know, there's a huge problem with health care coverage, and especially in South Florida, where we have so many people without health care. But When it comes to children, how can we have so many children without health insurance? We have over 9 million children without health insurance in this country, 500,000 of them right here. And I'm running against somebody that doesn't believe that they deserve that. I was born with a cleft lip, and personally, I know what it's like to have to go through all kinds of issues, tons of surgeries growing up. And now I'm a mother, and I can't imagine having to live paycheck to paycheck and have to think whether I would have to pay the rent or cover my child or take them to the hospital.
That's a reality for a lot of people.
Yes, and this is America, and I don't think that people should have to live like that.
You were born in this country or somewhere else?
I was born in Colombia, but I was born a citizen due to parental rights. My father was a U.S. citizen from New Jersey.
Okay. Now, let's say you're elected to Congress. What would Annette Taddeo do to help our economy? We have people who are facing foreclosure. We have unemployment. We have a housing crisis. How can you help out?
Well, first of all, I mean, there's a lot. That's a loaded question.
Yep.
There's a lot of issues there. There's one issue that I know that we need in Florida, we need help with, and that is our insurance for hurricanes. In 1992, we were hit with Hurricane Andrew,
yes.
And my opponent was already in Congress. And that has caused tremendous problems with our economy here because all of us are having a housing crisis, and we can't pay for our insurance, and we have to use the insurance of last resort, which is citizens,
right?
Which is what I have. And unfortunately, we need a CAT fund. We need a program for
I would think that if Ileana Ros-Lehtinen were here, she would probably agree with you. But you have to persuade Congress people from other parts of the country to go in on it, and they don't want to do it.
Yes, but why did it take a freshman congressman from Palm Beach, Ron Klein, to be the one to propose that? And why not 18 years ago when she got there and we were hit with Andrew, did she not start working on that? Is it going to take time? Of course it's going to take time, but it should not have taken all these years and waiting till Katrina hit New Orleans for this to happen. That can happen, just like we have a flood program.
How do you offset the personality of Ileana Ros-Lehtinen? I've known her for years, and my read on her is that whether you agree with her or not, you like her. She's likable. She's the type of person that remembers your name, remembers your wife or husband or father or mother's name. She's got these great skills. How do you offset something like that?
Well, I think she's a very nice person, too. And I think I'm a very nice person as well. But I don't think that this is going to be a contest as to who's the nicest. And I think the voters of South Florida are looking for someone that is going to represent their issues, that is going to work for their issues right here in South Florida, and not just who's the nicest.
Well, one of the issues that she's been very strong on has been Cuba policy, and the cornerstone of that is the embargo, the travel ban, a hard line toward Fidel Castro. We don't have a lot of time, but would your position be starkly different from that?
Well, the difference would be I think we should remain with the embargo. However, I differ with her with the travel restrictions for the families. I don't believe that our government should be telling me, if I were to have a relative in Cuba, that I can't go see my mother if she's in the hospital, but every 3 years.
So
that's not my family values.
And you say you were born in Colombia. Would you be in favor of a free trade agreement with Colombia, which President Bush is trying to get through, and I'm sure Ileana Ros-Lehtinen supports?
Yes, I would be in favor of it.
So you would be going against members of the Democratic Party on that one?
I would work with them to try to bring labor and the Colombia Free Trade Agreement people in favor so that all of us could work on something together to make sure that it passes. Okay. It's important for Colombia.
Annette Taddeo, hopefully we'll see a debate between yourself and Ileana Ros-Lehtinen. I know they're working on that, and hopefully it'll happen.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us on 4 Sunday Morning.